Tell me something.
Truman, did you know that Home Run Chase has a number of the takes of all time?
Dahm, that's true. Welcome everybody back to another episode of Dahm. That's true. Of course, I'm your host of the most Truman Steam Machine Steen. As always, I'm joined here by the bomb.
Boom.
Owen Dahm and sorry, yelling at a cat. And this week we are joined by Home Run Chase, friend of the show.
Friend of the show.
He's here to break down some of his hot takes and some of his cold takes, his coldest and his hottest. So we'll do just the home run takes, home run chase takes. You know what? Home run takes I think is fun. Episode this week, and then next week we'll recap everybody's hot takes from the beginning of the season and the middle of the season. But let's welcome in Home Run Chase. Chase, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Truman, as always.
As always. Always.
Yep. I'm vibing. I'm just a viber.
He's big vibing.
Are you excited for the Cincinnati Reds season this year?
You know what? I think this is probably the best time in sports that I've had in my life for Cincinnati sports.
Were the Reds
outside of they were what team could I compare them to? I'd say they were like the Texans last year. Or the Texans this year, but last year. They just had a bunch of young talent that is just lighting it up. Ellie De La Cruz, Matt McClain is just freaking amazing. So they invested in starting pitching this year, and we're still voted to be third best in the National League Central, which is odd in my opinion. But if they make the sophomore leaps, a couple of them at least, you could see an all-star heavy roster come at least halfway through the season, and then really potentially tear it through, with the Brewers kind of giving up a bit with their change in ownership or changing coach and changing player personnel. It just feels like the door's open.
So you're telling me is I need to buy in on the Cincinnati Reds futures right now to sell them in the middle of the season?
I think, I'm curious, I don't know what it is. I would have to assume Ellie De La Cruz is, I'm going to guess, top 15, maybe even top 10 in MVP voting already as a sophomore.
Can you gamble
That'd
in
be my
whatever
guess.
whatever state you're in?
Yes. And actually, I'm barely south of the border. Ohio is going to make it illegal to do college player prop bets come this upcoming season.
I saw that.
Kentucky still has it.
That.
I don't either. College is a lot harder, I feel like, to win those prop bets, so I'm glad that they're off my plate as options.
Yeah.
But I only just kind of look at it out of curiosity, less so actual betting. Unless I'm following the show and I just want to lose $5 just because I want to.
Fair. Let's see. Cincinnati Reds are plus 5,500
for World Series.
Yep. The Royals are plus 15,000.
Invest.
Yeah, the thing with the Reds is that they're so young that they really are like, they could be anything.
Yeah.
The belief is the trend will keep going up. Obviously, that's never the case with everyone. We're in the good spot of like, hey, we don't know who our 26th man is going to be because we have like 5 guys who'd be great to fill out the roster.
That's fair. I just placed $10 on the Royals to win with the thought that I'm going to sell it for hopefully more money once they win a couple games and maybe are competing in the Central. So
you better sell it in like April 29th.
Yeah.
When they're 7-2.
I'll be selling it in June.
No.
The Royals spent like the 4th most money in the league this year in free agency.
Wasn't their payroll like terrible? Isn't that why they had the money to do it?
Well, yes. We also have new ownership that's willing to invest in the team because they're trying to get a new stadium.
You know, that's great to see. The Royals' new ownership, the Orioles' new ownership. Man, it feels like there's some actual rich people that are like, I love my city, and I want to invest in it, and we're stuck with the Castellinis.
Ooh, tough.
It's a good thing that our owner's definitely from Kansas City.
Yikes. I don't even know where he is from.
I don't think he's from Kansas City.
I want to say he's from Chicago.
Let's find out.
I think he owned either part of what is now the Guardians or part of the Cubs.
He did. He owned part of the Guardians.
Is that what he? Yeah, and he had to like sell that part to then get the Chiefs part. I don't know where John Sherman is from, but he did dedicate $1 billion to building a new stadium. But hey, I'll let Owen look that up. But let's start getting into some of these chases.
He was born in
home
fucking
run
Japan.
chase takes. These home run takes, these chases on the takes, these takes in general. Chase, you have prepared a PowerPoint presentation for us.
Yeah, you could call it a science project. You could call it I just needed to show it in stuff that's not terrible handwriting. So I just felt like we gotta at least have it. I have arranged these with interwoven the worst and the best. When you see number 5 to 1, that is like the 5th best, 4th best, all that, and then 5th worst, 4th worst, all that. So
okay.
we're gonna be going to the polls as we progress. And in true Dahm, that's true fashion, I have 2 honorable mentions to lead in.
Okay. All right.
Good.
We're ready.
All right, we'll just start with one that so honorable mention category was made only because they're in progress. I think they're trending towards being right and wrong, but I can't say for certain yet, so they're just sitting around the honorable mentions. First off, for the worst honorable mention, Justin Fields saved his job after pounding the Commanders.
Probably
it
not.
was after week 4. He looked really good that game. I mean, it felt like everything was clicking. DJ Moore would actually be in a great spot with Fields for the rest of the season. He did show it, but when the Bears beat the Bengals in the season that they made the Super Bowl, Darnell Mooney looked great. And so I thought he would continue that, and it'd be a great DJ Moore Darnell Mooney combo. Mooney really fell off, and he just couldn't connect. I don't really know all that would happen, but it's not looking likely anymore. That's the case. Not official yet. They haven't said what they're doing, but
but everybody knows what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean,
Chicago's in such a weird spot. We had this talk about Mike Evans, where we were talking about Mike Evans in the middle of the season, and I said Tampa should be looking to trade Mike Evans. You're not winning the Super Bowl this year. You should trade him away. And it's like, and somebody responded, was like, oh, so is winning the Super Bowl like the only stick of measurement of success? Like they shouldn't even try to make the playoffs if they're not going to win the Super Bowl? Yes, and that's kind of the answer. Is that you should be trying to win Super Bowls, and it's the same thing that Chiefs fans had to come to with Alex Smith. Is where it's like, okay, Alex Smith is good, he can win our division, but he's never going to win us the Super Bowl. We're going to have to try something different. You can't keep beating your head against the wall, and so it's like I'm not sure Caleb Williams is going to be the answer in Chicago, but I don't think Justin Fields is going to win a Super Bowl in Chicago.
It's how you become the Tennessee Titans.
Right.
You're good enough to beat these teams and advance a couple games in the playoffs. But when you run into a team with a bona fide quarterback, you're going to lose with Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah. You need a playmaker. You need somebody who's different. And Justin Fields, I'm not sure is that guy, especially in Chicago, but it's going to suck to totally reset to Caleb Williams also.
Well, it's something that fucking Tampa Bay has figured out. That team is constantly awful, and then they get the right quarterback, and they win the Super Bowl, and then they go back to being terrible.
They won the Super Bowl once, and that wasn't somebody they drafted.
They've won it twice.
They won it twice, also with guys they didn't
Correct.
draft.
Proving the point. If you don't have it, get it.
It's out there for sale. I mean, you don't just make something out of nothing, unfortunately.
Yeah, sure. Well, exactly. But they traded players to go get Tom Brady, and it got him the Super Bowl. Yeah, they traded players to build that defense and got him a Super Bowl.
It's like the Royals. The Royals really knew they had one shot at winning a World Series, so they traded away everybody and won their World Series. And now we're back to being bad.
But it was worth it.
Yeah, it was worth it instead of just going to the playoffs for 5 years. I'm glad we won that World Series and then just
nobody wants to be the Dodgers.
Right. Well, I want to be the Dodgers right now.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
It's the offseason. Everybody wants to be the Dodgers in the offseason.
Yeah, to go with Truman's point, the Dodgers are a little bit of a special case. I know people like to compare them to the Cowboys in the sense of making it all the way. This is our year, blah, blah, blah. But it's one thing when it's just 17 games to be like, oh, this is a fun game to watch. This is our year. But when you're winning 115 games or something in a season, it's really fun. It's a lot of games to watch where
We
you're
have
like,
a
yeah,
wide
I'm
sample
competitive.
Yeah,
size.
the
That's
MLB
proven
is-
that we're the best team in the league and we should win this win the World Series, and then you lose in the first.
The
round.
MLB is just
Yeah.
crying out for a salary cap, just begging for one. But
Yeah.
the MLB is so fucking poorly run, doesn't want it to be successful that they're never going to put it in. And the same 6 teams are always going to compete for the championship.
I thought it wasn't necessarily the MLB, like it's the MLB's fault, which obviously they're whatever you want to say, their hands are tied with the streaming stuff or whatever's going on internally.
They
But
signed a lot
I think
of bad
it's
deals
just
for
the
sure. Yeah.
yes. I think it's more so a salary cap just hinders the ability for top players to get paid, and then that increases the money for the lower players. I don't
You
think
can
they're ever
set
gonna,
a salary
the player
cap.
association would vote on that.
I'd say the Players Association is really what's the Players Union in the
Yeah.
MLB. The fact that every contract is fully guaranteed once it's signed is why the salary cap would never work in the MLB. They would have to give up that, and then your players aren't getting paid, and they won't want that.
They've got to figure it out, or people are going to stop watching baseball. And smaller market teams, they're just going to lose more and more fan base. And
Well, that's the trick, Owen, is people have already stopped watching baseball. So okay, but let's get back to the football. So that was your worst honorable mention take. What's your best honorable mention take?
I'm
Or
sorry,
honorable mention for
Owen.
best take.
I'm really sorry in advance. This was such a meme post, and I can't believe how good it's come. Tottenham will finish outside the top 4.
we're
the
in
Premier
5th
League
right
table.
now. We're in 5th right
Exactly.
now.
I need to. That's why I have this information to specify. They're currently number 5. That is correct. But they were first when I made this take.
Yes,
And
we
Owen
knew they
can
weren't going to win the
explain why
league.
it happened. However, it was very funny that it has actually been correct.
Ugh.
We knew-
5 points outside of the top 4. Even.
We knew they weren't going to win the league.
5 points outside the top 4, closer to 6th than you are to 4th.
Truman, we have a game in hand.
I know.
Settle down, buddy. Settle
Yeah.
down.
Okay, so at best 2 points out.
Yeah, which is nothing. Which is a single game.
Well, you know.
Our next game,
How many games are in a Premier League season, Owen?
36.
You've got 11 games left.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. Okay, buddy.
Our next,
I'm
our
You
pretty
next,
probably
sure-
control your own destiny, though. I assume.
our
Yeah,
next
you play
game is
Aston
against
Villa.
Crystal Palace. It's free.
I thought oh yeah.
I would assume everyone kind of controls their own destiny with 11 games to play. You'd probably play at least one person that's above you.
They play against
someone near
Aston
you.
Villa, so they play against the team that's
Okay.
right.
Yeah,
in
we
front
play
of
against Aston Villa. We play Man City and Arsenal and Liverpool as well, which is tough in our last 11.
Yeah,
but
you got a nice run. I know part of the reason from just watching the streams when I can, there were some injuries, there were some just random bad calls that just didn't go your way.
every player on our team got injured in November, and we lost like 4 out of 5 games. It was insane.
That doesn't take away from the fact that it is currently a correct take when you never want to believe the team in first is not going to be in first
Right.
after at least some duration, if not second, third.
We knew
What,
they weren't going to
fifth?
be winning
Oh.
the league.
Oh,
Did
Sorry,
we,
guys.
Owen? Because I
sorry. What were we saying?
was like, did we, Owen? Because like you were really hyping them up that first when I made this take.
I knew they weren't going to win. All I said was, could we?
Sorry, guys. Okay, sorry. We have reached the 3-minute max of talking about soccer on the podcast.
Okay.
Chase, let's move on to the next one.
I'm gonna number 5 worst. Lions are frauds. I mean,
Lions are frauds. That's your number 5 worst.
that's my number 5 worst. The only reason this is sitting at 5 and it made the list, I had some really bad takes. Like a lot of it was just partial content, partial feeling, whatever.
Right.
It's because I let myself drink Owen's Kool-Aid.
Hey,
Saying that the
they won the Super
Lions-
Bowl?
Shut up.
Fraudulent.
Shut up.
Fraudulent.
Because I actually messaged Truman after the game against the Chiefs that they won, the Lions won, and I was like, they're not bad, they're not great, but they're not bad. Like
No.
it's a loss. It hurts, like obviously, but it's like they still played them pretty strong, and then they just started winning. They were like 6-3, and then I'm like, I think they lost to some middle team, and that's when Owen really started the fraud talk.
Yeah.
And then they got decimated by the Ravens. And then it was like, oh my God, are they like super frauds? Like, am I really gonna believe they made
Oh,
it
they
to
lost.
the NFC
They lost to
Championship
the
game?
Bears by 15.
That's what it was. And then it's
Yeah.
like that's rough, but like they're still like 6-3,
Mm-hmm.
and
I'm
then,
gonna
or
bet they're
whatever
under
it
next year.
was.
I'm betting they're under. Whatever it is, I'm betting they're under. It's happening.
Regardless, the
Bona
fraud
fide
talk was
hater.
fun this season, but I should have stuck with my guns and been like, they're still a good team. They're not frauds.
Owen
But
Dahm, nastiest
unfortunately,
hater.
I am a hater. That's for
unfortunately,
sure.
I listened to the wrong side of the table.
Hey,
Um,
they didn't win the Super Bowl, so frauds.
fifth best. Um, uh, Bryce Young will be the worst quarterback this season from the 2023 class to start multiple games. If you take it at face value, I'm pretty sure you could probably find one quarterback like Aiden O'Connell or some other quarterback that maybe played a couple that was not good.
I think Aiden
However,
O'Connell was actually last year's class, if I'm right.
or not Aiden O'Connell. What was the other? What was the Clayton
Will
Tune? That
Levis.
was the guy I was thinking of. No, it was Clayton Tune. I think he had a bad time with the Raiders before like they got their stuff all settled.
Yeah,
But when you're talking first overall, I mean, the guy behind him did amazing. Will
right,
Levis actually did something.
right, yeah,
Nothing great, but he did something.
If you
right,
get
yeah.
into the advanced stats on Bryce Young, it's not really his fault. It's that the
Oh, I
Panthers
know.
are such a shit organization. But you are correct.
Oh,
I'll
I
give you
know.
that.
But he was the worst quarterback this season from
That's
that
true.
class.
That's true.
And so like I mean, and it seems so early to make that assessment, which is also what's terrible about like how Bryson's season went. It didn't ever feel like it's like yeah, but he's getting to here, or yeah, but it was like he has no time to throw. He looks small, and he just can't really lead a team to do a drive when he had like maybe 2 opportunities for a game-winning drive and he failed on both.
He does look
Like
tiny. He does look like a little
so
baby.
it just nothing seemed like this guy is first overall. Obviously, you have plenty of first overall picks that didn't pan out that were quarterbacks.
Right.
And I'm obviously biased because at least the Bengals managed to do one right after the Achilles Smith bullshit way back when with Joe Burrow. But I mean, it's just brutal that was the case.
Yeah,
It's
you
really
feel
just
for him for
brutal.
sure.
All right, fourth worst. I'm trying to use other things aside from clicking, but that's looks like we're clicking. Desmond Ritter will lead the Falcons to an NFC South title. This was
Yikes.
made after week 1. I
That
was
is-
really high on some Desmond Ritter from UC vibes. Just
Oh
being an
yeah,
alma mater.
that's
And
fair.
it was definitely not good.
Yeah, I
It
mean, we had
was-
some Skylar Thompson takes, so I don't fault you for it.
I'd still think
But, like,
Skylar Thompson can do what Tua did.
It's just amazing that it did hold longer than it really like it should have been over so early that it was wrong, but it's like they like kept doing all right and beating bad teams, especially within their division. It was like maybe, but then like they started to fall apart. Heineke was better leading that team, and that's saying very little because Heineke was also not good.
Didn't they have a
Yeah.
chance to
So-
win the division on the final day? If they would have won,
I don't
wouldn't they
think
have won the
I don't think
division?
it was final day. I think it was like the week prior they needed a win and they didn't get it, or someone needed to lose and they didn't get it.
Yeah,
I think
I'm
they were
not
really
sure.
close, though.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure it was
exactly how it worked
close.
down. It was. I mean, it was close, but that was a terrible. Like, I think if the Bucks lost and the Falcons won, maybe. But the Bucks were playing the Panthers. Everybody's like, yeah, they're not going to lose to the Panthers.
Yeah, they like decimated the Panthers that week, I think.
And then
too.
the Saints beat the hell out of the
Yeah,
Falcons.
you're right, Chase. They needed to win their last 2 games, and they lost them both.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like,
So-
I knew they weren't in the decision day, like in the hunt towards the end of the season, but I knew they were really close. They almost made it.
Yeah, Desmond
But,
Ritter's going to be
I
back
mean-
to delivering DoorDash.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I mean, he gave me some great memories in college. I
Yep.
mean, he's got a great win percentage in college, but man, he had the opportunity. I mean, and you can call Arthur Smith as the problem. You could say he just couldn't vibe with any receivers. But I mean, he got to do something. End of the day, Ritter, you got to do something to make.
I mean,
people
you got to
believe.
remember that at the end of the day, these like second string or like second level quarterbacks, you got to remember it's the NFL. They're playing against better defenses than they've ever seen ever.
That's true. And he could be incredible in the UFL. You never know.
That's true.
It'd
There
be
could be life
incredible
for
when he
him, yeah.
learns Canadian.
You better learn to speak French Canadian, buddy.
Yeah.
You're going to the Montreal Alouettes.
You better
It's-
learn to
it's-
speak top rope,
I'm
buddy.
curious what happens, but I mean, I don't know what the Falcons do in the draft. I don't even know if there's a quarterback that's worth taking at their like probably 9th
They
pick,
sell the
10th pick.
team.
I don't even know where they're at.
I guess
Honestly, maybe.
I think they're a lot like I think everybody thinks they're gonna get Kirk.
Oh, are they one of the teams that are supposed to buy a veteran?
Yeah. Yeah.
Win now teams?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, they got a loaded skill position set if they can learn how to utilize them. Drake London maybe barely eclipsed 1,000 yards.
Right. Drake London, Kyle Pitts, and Bijan Robinson. You have all the pieces.
And you have that physical man-eating O-line. I think they might need to be reset a little bit because they might have either lost a couple or gotten hurt. But
Yeah, they have pick 8. They're picking 8th in the first round. They could get Jaden Daniels if he falls that far.
yeah, because I mean, you obviously have Caleb, you have MHJ going. Some people have a second wide receiver going that early.
Rome Odunze,
Yeah, Dunze.
maybe.
I don't know how this draft feels a little weird. I'm not certain how things are gonna go. There's a lot of overhyped quarterbacks. It feels like.
I just need Brock Bowers to fall to 32.
Don't worry,
No
the
way.
fans of the Bengals are hoping he falls to just 18, and we're like, no way.
It's simple. All 31 other teams in the NFL look at their quarterback and realize they can't beat Patrick Mahomes. They all draft a quarterback in the first round, and we get Marvin Harrison Jr. with the 32nd overall pick. That's the hardest part about winning the Super Bowl. Chase, you wouldn't know this, but this is the hardest part about winning a Super Bowl. Is picking number 32 every year. It gets really tiring always picking in the 30s. I'm really sick of it, dude.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, hell, that one time you picked 31, or you picked like 31 because someone decided they wanted to like cheat. That must
Yeah,
have
we
been
did pick
brutal
31
for
last
you.
year.
Yeah.
Because the Chargers lost their pick? No, the Dolphins
Dolphins.
lost their pick
Dolphins, yeah.
for having Tom Brady on the boat, probably.
Yeah, and
For something.
we picked a project player from Kansas State. Still, we gotta have a full season of next
Tackle
season.
for loss in the Super Bowl.
Tackle for last Super
I
Bowl.
was gonna say,
Gotta
I
figure
thought
out.
I thought that was him. I didn't remember his name, but I heard a name that sounded like the
Yeah.
K-State guy.
Felix Anudike Uzama,
Yeah, so
number
basically,
97.
he's got like this year and probably part of next year to figure it out, because first round pick money. But
I saw somebody say that he probably won't put it all together next year, but the third year he's going to be he has a really good shot of being really good.
we'll see. He's still like young as hell. He's still 22.
Yeah, he is super young. All right. Chase, your next
That sounds
pick?
like us with Murphy. Yeah, Miles Murphy. It sounds the
Yeah.
exact same. Like he's like got everything. He just needs to put it all together.
Right, yeah.
Okay, fourth best. Trent it, run from it. Bama's gonna beat Georgia and sneak into the CFP.
Ugh.
Nailed it.
I hate that this was right, but you just couldn't. You just couldn't. This was after the Auburn game.
Yep.
It just felt like it was gonna happen. I didn't see Georgia not being kept in, even with the loss. That was surprising to me. And obviously the way they handled FSU, in hindsight, isn't as surprising because of how they handle teams like that, and
Yeah, I don't know.
be all not caring about the season or the projections for how they'd play.
What a
But,
perfect
man-
final year for only 4 teams making the college football playoff. A perfect final year to show us everything that was wrong with that.
Right.
It's amazing, really, because I barely watched college football when it was the year of the 2 team. It's like there was the championship was decided by the computer or whatever it was called, the
Right.
algorithm.
The BCS,
Um,
yeah.
So I barely watched college football by then, and it just feels like it's a never-ending struggle to be like, oh, where is the number when someone can't win, even if they make it in? Never. Like, I feel like 12 is too much.
No way. I actually need to.
I feel like 8 would have been better, but I know what they're trying to do is they're trying to do more guaranteed bids.
Right, and give you a
So-
bye for winning your conference, make it still matter. I
ba-
get why
basically
you did
to
12.
reward something, but it just feels like I think we're seeing a lot of coaches that have retired this year are going to be very vocal about how things go very fast. And if things don't go well, there's going to be a lot of I don't know why we're taking these kids out of school. We're ruining their energy. Just isn't built for a whatever 15 game season anymore. It's only a 12 game season.
Yeah.
I'm curious how it goes, but I hate that this take was right. But I mean, can you really ever ignore Nick Saban or doubt his ability to bring a team
No.
together?
But I do think he retired at the right time of when
Yes.
all the advantages that helped him be so elite are ending. Now that
Correct.
NIL has kind of helped level that playing field, and now that there would have been not only, back in the past, he only had to be in the top 2 and then he'd have a shot. Then he had to be in the top 4 and he's like, all right, sure. Now it's like anybody in the top 12 has a shot to beat you, and you're probably going to have to win 2 or 3 games to prove yourself. Well, 3 games now to prove yourself. And he's like, you know what? I'm good. I'm done.
Well, yeah, and I'm also just glad from this format that Florida State got the shit beat out of them in the bowl game by Georgia.
Right.
Just show that they didn't belong in that final controversy. But
Yeah. Once he couldn't stash five stars 3 deep on every
Yes.
single position on his
Yes.
team, and because those guys would just leave now, I think Saban knew it was kind of the beginning of
I mean, the fact that I know Mac Jones is not a good NFL quarterback, but the fact that they had
Mac Jones,
Tua, Jalen Hurts, and Mac Jones all on the same team is kind of crazy.
At the same time, and also they had, it was like Derrick Henry, Mark Ingram, Alvin Kamara,
Henry Ruggs.
Henry Ruggs. No, sorry, I'm talking running backs. Like Jahmyr Gibbs was there around that time. Like there's a running back picture where it's like Trent Williams, Derrick Henry, Mark Ingram.
Yeah, like
and somebody
all
else in the
NFL
other.
running backs.
And they were just stashing them, behind them because they could, so because those guys.
Because
were
people
trained.
knew if you sat and waited 2 years and learned under Saban, you'd get 1 year in the limelight, rush for like 2,000 yards, and be like, "Yep, NFL bound."
Yep, drafted in the first round.
It's
I'm
like
just
a
glad that-
guaranteed first round pick.
I'm just glad we get to see the death of Alabama. They're cooked. It's done. It's over for them.
I'm ready for that.
I don't know if it'll ever die as long as the SEC has the strength that they're going to try and pull in the future.
No, but there'll be a lot more like Oregon. Where Oregon, you're like, we're really no longer in the dominance period of Oregon, but they're still there and around and will make a run. But
Yeah, fair.
Oregon still never won a national title in football, which blows my mind.
Yeah.
That is a
Their
team
only
that feels
good
like
shot was the Mariota year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
They ended up beating K-State in a bowl game where they needed a 1-point safety to win.
Funny. All right, and your next take, Chase?
Number 3 worst. I feel a little bad about this one. Jordan Love's certified bust, and it isn't too early to say this. This was made about mid-season.
When he
I
was
have
a bust.
eaten my crow.
Right when he turned
I
it
have
on. He turned it on.
Yep.
Right then.
Yep. It was. I've eaten my crow. I also kind of felt like everyone was overhyping the stories of Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. Be like, no, he can't possibly do it a third time, but can he? And I was like, no. This is so weird. This is so different. He's playing terrible. He is definitely going to scare the NFC North for another decade plus.
He flipped
And-
some switch. I don't know when it happened. He just he turned it on all of a sudden.
I almost feel like it's got to be just the coach really like he just got in his ear and was like, "This is who you are, and show it." And he was like, "Okay, coach." I think they call Packers coach like the quarterback whisperer, right?
I'm
He's
sure,
like one
yeah.
of those guys.
I think he is one of those quarterback whisperers, yeah.
Yeah.
Like Sean Payton is supposed to be, and
Yeah.
Andy Reid is supposed to be, and yeah.
And you better be worried. Harbaugh's gonna do it to Herbert. You better be worried. No three-peat.
No, they hired Greg Roman, so.
Cooked.
Of course.
All
Of course
right.
they did.
Yeah, they hired one of the worst OCs in modern history, so that's very cool.
Only one that wouldn't let Lamar Jackson audible out of a play. Crazy.
Yeah. That
All right.
seems like a recipe, obviously, for disaster. All
And
right.
don't worry,
number
people have already
three.
people have already asked if their ceiling's the Super Bowl, so that's awesome. So that's how you know they're cooked.
It's happening. AFC West offseason.
Woo!
Chargers are the AFC West offseason champs every year.
Number 3, Niners will get the 1 seed in the NFC.
No.
Now you might be thinking, man, that seems like that was inevitable. Well, I made this back mid-season when the Eagles had a 3-win lead over they were 9-1 over this, and the 6-3 Niners had just played, and it was like, man, this team just feels like they're getting back together. And I was like, you let Purdy get out of his concussion.
Yep.
Team's getting healthier. Trent Williams gets back on the field. It's like
Debo Williams,
I don't know how.
Debo Samuel got back on also. Yeah.
Yep. I was like, I don't know how, but this team just feels like they're going to be the 1 seed. Now, Eagles very much helped out. There was no like, oh, the Eagles like, oh, they were so close. The Eagles really helped out.
They did.
But it's crazy that like it actually did happen, because this was like somewhat after the Bengals game where it's like, man, Purdy can't win a game. Like Purdy is this, Purdy is that. Purdy can't ever be an MVP quarterback, blah, blah, blah. But it just, something always seemed wrong with those takes, and it happened.
Purdy,
I still don't think
Purdy is patient. Purdy is kind. Purdy is.
Shut up.
What is the?
Yes, I know what you're saying.
The rest of the
I still don't think Purdy can be an MVP, but that's not to say that the Niners were bad. So yeah, you nailed it.
He's one bad Ravens game away from being the MVP.
Yeah, he never should have been the MVP. He's the 10th best player on that team.
Yeah, but also Lamar won the MVP with underwhelming stats.
Yeah, he shouldn't have won that MVP either. It should have been CMC. It was obvious, and they didn't give it to him.
They're never going to give it to a position.
It's so insane. Lamar B with another running back season for an MVP. Insane.
Hall of Famer now.
Yeah, Hall of Famer. Congrats. 0 rings.
2 MVPs. He's probably a Hall of Famer. All right. Chase, give us your second worst.
Is that really, in your opinion, is that really all it takes? You think that's enough?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think there's any way that you keep him out of the
Even
Hall.
if he like has 2 seasons left and he's done?
I think he still might have to give it to him. Well, he's at the same time he's kind of revolutionized. He basically is like what Michael Vick would have had if Michael Vick wouldn't have gone to jail for the dog stuff. Where it's like if he would have, because Michael Vick was on his way to revolutionize the quarterback position. Lamar Jackson has finished that, and now we're going to see he's going to pave the way, I think, for a lot of that style of quarterback. And he's already won 2 MVPs.
Yeah, he's got a good win-loss record, but he's still negative in the playoffs.
It doesn't matter.
It does.
Dan Marino never won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but he's positive in the playoffs because he only made it once.
What?
The Dolphins didn't make the playoffs very much after that Super Bowl season, did they not?
They made the playoffs plenty. He was still a choke.
But they weren't. I don't know. Lamar needs a couple more playoff wins to be a Hall of Famer for me.
I don't think he's a lock yet. I think you see him get the rushing record for a quarterback. I think is he just off? He's like just short, right? Or did he already pass that?
Yeah, I think he's coming up on it pretty quick.
If he gets it,
But,
he'll have to be in.
Yeah, if he breaks that record, I mean that's a new quarterback. But
yeah,
we'll see if he's able to hold on.
Yeah, because it's like if you look at like Michael Vick's stats, like Michael Vick's rushing stats are like Patrick Mahomes' stats. Like 500 rushing yards in a season. Everybody was like, whoa, my God. And that's like, Mahomes does it, and nobody really talks about Mahomes' rushing ability.
Because there's quarterbacks that are so much better than that in the NFL.
Yeah, it's funny. And so Lamar Jackson's, I think, just catching up on that all-time number very quickly because he's having actually substantially good running back seasons. Or rushing
Yeah, he's got an O-line to do it, too. An O-line that'll actually get him the push he needs.
Yeah, except in the playoffs, whenever Chris Jones is ready to wreck him,
yeah, except when the OC decides that they don't want to play to their strengths. But how would I know that as a Bengals fan? Would never know about
exactly.
That. All right, second worst take. We're getting into where stuff becomes. This was tough. This Final Four except for 2 of them felt like these are definite. Out of left field, and they really hit. And I think this is one of them, and how poorly this hit. Will Levis will have the best season among all the 2023 draft picks at QB.
Ugh, that's tough.
Now let me start with this. I had a combo of things that made me believe this. First off, as I listed, I mean, they had D-Hop and the King. I mean, that just seemed like a great trio. And
Right.
who are these no names that Stroud's playing with? Like, there's no way he's going to have a supporting cast that's going to help him. Will Levis seems to be in the best spot. He's got a defense that can do something. Not long after this, they trade away their safety. They basically sold. They were definitely going for terrible. Vrabel looked like he lost the team.
Yep.
Everything just seemed incredibly bad. When you believe a quarterback's going to be the best rookie out of all of them for just that season, I didn't have any expectations Will Levis for long term. But yeah, Stroud really, really proved that this was terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I trashed on
Incredibly
Stroud a
terrible
lot.
one.
I trashed on Stroud a lot as well because I was just expecting your normal Ohio State quarterback, you know, good in college and one of the worst quarterbacks you've ever seen in the NFL. I was wrong. Right. So,
well, Stroud also had what rookie quarterbacks need, and that is a veteran tight end. He had a veteran tight end that can get open and catch the ball, and that is huge for rookie tight end, for rookie quarterbacks that are trying to make a name for themselves. Lamar Jackson had
Mark Andrews.
Patrick Mahomes has Travis Kelce. C.J. Stroud has Dalton Schultz. It's, for guys that we've seen have Brock Purdy has George Kittle.
Yep.
Just for guys that have made those big steps, they had a lot of good guys. Dak Prescott with Jason Witten when he was coming in. It just, you need to have that safety blanket that knows where to find the sticks. I think that's one of the hardest things is making something out of nothing on third down is a lot more important in the NFL because the game goes so much slower than college, where college is like, okay, you blew that drive, but the other team's going to blow their drive in 30 seconds and you're going to get the ball back, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
And in NFL, the drives are so much more methodical and they make you pay for all those mistakes that I think having that safety blanket of a veteran tight end that can get open on third and fourth down whenever you need a big play, whenever you need 10 yards or 5 yards, I think having that guy helps a lot.
Yeah, and obviously you can bring up some teams where it's like, it didn't matter for you have Ritter with what was supposed to be a great combo with his tight end. You had honestly Burrow didn't really have a tight end. I was really hoping Eifert could be that guy, but he just couldn't make it long enough.
Yeah.
Well, Hayden Hurst isn't bad right now.
Yeah.
No, but we didn't have a guy. We had Well, he also tore his ACL 5 weeks into the season, 6 weeks, 7. So he didn't have time to gel with anybody.
And by the time he got to that second season, he had Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. So
and that's when we got Uzama, I believe, and then Tyler Boyd and Mixon was in his decline stage, but he wasn't he wasn't declining.
They really
fast.
got some dudes in that wide receiver room
for now.
Yeah.
One more
unfortunately, Truman, he is not included in that future Chiefs plans right now.
Not right now. The only reason he's not going to be in those future Chiefs plans is because there's no way you guys trade him to us.
Yeah.
Well,
do you think Derrick Henry must be? I mean, not Derrick Henry. D-Hop must be kicking himself going to the Titans instead of the Chiefs for $3 million more. What a dummy.
Also, see, this is the part of the offseason where I start to I'm a little jealous of the Bengals right now, honestly. I would love to pick what are you guys picking? Pick 14, pick 15?
18.
18?
We got the first one outside the playoffs.
Oh my God. I would love to pick in the teens. It's just we're always picking in the 30s. It sucks, man. I hate it. I'd love to have the 18th pick this year. I mean, but we're picking 32 again. Sucks. Dude.
Truman, when you decide that you're going to go golfing on the night of the NFL draft, and you're like, man, should I check my phone right now to see what pick we took? Nah, we're picking at the 10 p.m. slot. We're just going to wait until the very end to just see what we got. I hope you excite yourself staying up late past your bedtime to see what that pick is.
Trust me, we went to the draft last year. The draft was in Kansas City. We were standing outside at fucking 11 p.m. when they drafted Felix. And we're going, yeah!
It was hype because
we'll do it, but
like, dude, do we get the Kansas State kid? Certainly not. No way.
We're like, it's too perfect. It's too perfect of a story. You know what? I thought going to the draft was going to be lame. It was so fun.
It was actually pretty fun.
Like, whenever draft trades happen, you're like, oh my God.
I remember I was in line for a beer when the Texans traded for the third pick.
The draft is in Pittsburgh in 3 years. We got to go with the West Virginia
That should be
boys.
fun.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, but when the Texans traded for the third pick, everyone was like, you could literally hear the whole crowd go, oh!
They're like, they're going back for Will Anderson. You're like, holy. And like, even when the Texans had the second pick, everybody's like, Anthony Richardson, maybe? Maybe it's Anthony Richardson. And then they said C.J. Stroud, and everybody's like, whoa.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
And then the Colts had the fourth pick, and then they picked Anthony Richardson. Everybody was really like, holy shit.
Yeah, the first 10 picks of this year's draft were awesome.
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, it was fun. Fun time.
I think the first round is definitely exciting. I think you go because you're like a sports addict for the day 2 and day 3.
Oh yeah, you have a problem if you're there day 2 or 3.
I think like if it's in your city and you don't go to the first round, you're kind of trolling yourself. Like you gotta go. Yeah. But after after getting out of there at 11, Truman and I looked at each other and we're like, dude, we are not coming back tomorrow.
No. No. So yeah. All right. So yeah, Will Levis, not the best pick of the quarterback class.
That much you can say. Second best, and I think this is only fair with how much clowning has happened this stream already, that we got to knock you down a peg. Like, you're so high up on your high horse, we got to go one down. My second best take, also kind of memey, but I did believe in it. I put my money where my mouth was. I did bet on this. Raiders will win at least one of the head-to-heads against the Chiefs.
God, what a terrible game that Christmas Day game was.
Oh.
I've told this story on stream. So the Raiders kicked 2 field goals and scored 2 touchdowns in that game. No, they scored 3 touchdowns, I think, right? Because they missed a. No,
I don't think they had an offensive touchdown.
No, they didn't have it. Okay, yeah, you're right. No, they scored 2 defensive touchdowns, and so I was in Chicago visiting Tina's family for that
with people who don't know ball.
Yeah, and we were with her extended family like on Christmas Day, like they were trying to do presents, and one of her family members was talking to me, and I'm like really, I'm wearing my Chiefs jersey. I had the game on my phone, and she's like, "Well, you're just not really like you're kind of ignoring me, like you're not really taking me." So I was like, "Oh, okay," and I was like, "No." I was like, "I got to make good impression." So I locked my phone and put it away, and we're having a conversation for like 3 minutes, and I'm like, "Okay," and then she like goes to get food or something. I pick back up my phone. The Raiders are kicking the field goal or kicking the extra point. I'm like, what the fuck happened? And I'm like, oh my. And then I see the replay of the fumble. I'm like, oh my God. And then she comes back. I put my phone away again. I lock it again on the extra point. And then we talk for a little bit and I open my phone again and they're kicking the extra point again. And I'm like, I was like, I got to catch up to live. I must have just hit play. And then I was like, wait, no, the score updated. I was like, how did they score that quick? And then I go back and I see the pick 6. I'm like, oh my God. And then it's just me sitting there as the Chiefs offense just sucks for the rest of the day.
That was an awful game.
Oh my gosh, so dumb.
Sky Moore, by the way. Kadarius Toney, by the way, just so we're aware.
What'd they do that game?
Not catch anything because they're trash and can't get open.
Yeah, but
not an NFL caliber player.
Mahomes fumbled it and then threw a pick 6. I'm
blaming the wide receivers. They suck.
There's plenty of games they could have put on.
When we stopped playing them, we won out. So
it's simple. That's true.
It's simple. They're trash.
But yes, Chase, we will give you your flowers on this one. This was a good.
Yeah, he cooked.
Yeah, you cooked on that one.
Crazy that you
made this. Oh, go ahead, Owen.
No, it's just crazy that it's the worst Chiefs performance ever. But you did call it
one of the worst performances in the last 3 seasons, I think, by the Chiefs.
No, the worst one was against the Titans.
Titans one was the worst one. Yeah.
I don't know what it was. I mean, as you can kind of see, Pierce just feels like a different coach for that team compared to what they had. I just kind of looked at that team and was like, I don't know why. Something just feels like they're going to win one. And it was great. It was on Christmas. Like I said, I did bet money on the Raiders because I did put my money where my mouth was. Won like an extra $10 that day.
Merry
was
Christmas.
it was a great Christmas gift all around. And unfortunately, I really hoped it was the nail in the coffin to be like, man, Chiefs aren't going to the Super Bowl, much less winning it. I mean, they just lost to the Raiders. Unfortunate. Incorrect desires.
I have a hunch what your number one worst take might be, but
what do you think it is? I'm curious.
No.
I mean,
no, we'll see. Trust me, I'm a man of my word. I'll tell you if it's what I thought it was.
okay.
But
What I believe to be my worst take that I made this season.
I'll say
Cardinals will make the playoffs and have a chance at making them in the final week, or have a chance of making them in the final week. This is what happens when you let a bad team have a good performance and just believe that it's the future.
Yeah.
This was after they beat the Cowboys. And I was like, oh my God, new coach, young team. They're going to get Kyler back. This is a playoff team. This team is doing something. I don't know what, but they're making the playoffs at least.
Are they second
NFC
pick?
West. No, they don't have their. No, they have second and fourth because they got the Texans pick. No, I'm sorry, Texans are in the playoffs.
Right. Yeah, they've got extra.
Yeah, there's something like that.
They've got extra picks. Yeah, they've got 2 picks this year.
Yes,
so
like
they won
second,
that.
Yes.
So they won that game to trick everybody into going to games, and they said, "Oh yeah, we got a tank." And
Yep. Yeah. Basically.
Wait, Patrick, you're supposed to let me beat
number
you up.
4 and number 27 is what they've got.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew it was. I thought it was 2, but that makes sense.
And they might have 2. They might have 2 second rounders too. Hold on.
They got a lot for that trade.
Patrick, you're supposed to let me win. Remember? Oh yeah.
I don't. It just seems. Unfortunately, I feel like it was a peak too early for the Cowboys memes because it really was like, Cowboys not even gonna have a winning record after losing to the Cardinals. Yeah, well they didn't. They had that. I was like,
third round. They have 3 third-round picks.
Well, yeah, the Eagles let them have the division, which was crazy.
I was like, oh my God, like the Cardinals are gonna make some noise. Like Cliff Kingsbury was the problem. It's all gonna be solved. And this is someone who doesn't watch Cardinals football, never really has, except when they played the Bengals. But I believed it. I wholeheartedly believe this. I even doubled down midway through the season when Kyler did come back. I'm like, yep, they have a shot. They have a chance right now.
In fact,
3-11.
They were the only team in the NFC West to not have a shot at the playoffs in the final week of the season.
Correct.
Dude, the worst
terrible take.
The worst to first conversation for the AFC and NFC next year is gonna be wild.
I thought you had a Chiefs are frauds take or Chiefs are on fraud watch take.
So I did have some Chiefs takes. The reason I didn't necessarily include them is because they were kind of more poking the bear kind of takes. They weren't really true. I mean, you can't discount Mahomes anytime you have.
Right.
But as a Chiefs podcast, you have to throw some Chiefs takes in. I mean,
of course.
At some point,
you're giving us content.
Yeah, you're giving us content. We respect it. Thank you.
Right. No, we appreciate it.
He's a team player.
Yeah.
So, like, I was going to include him, but I'm like, I mean, yes, I ate crow doing them. I did hope they were right or would be right. I was fully prepared to put them on this list if they would have been right. They were not right. But they were not top 5 worst incorrect.
Oh yeah, did Bengals really finish last place?
Yes, we finished.
There's your not make playoffs in that division.
There's your worst to first. That's easy.
I think you could. I would argue Colts only because there's still some big question marks with Burrow's injury.
Wait, did Colts finish last?
Did they?
Did the Colts actually lose that division?
Oh, I'm sorry, Titans. No, Titans. You mean like 4th place, worst to last? Yeah. Gotcha. Worst to first.
Yeah, no, the Colts lost that division on their running back dropping that pass in the
that's
week
right.
18.
Well, it was a bad pass. It was behind him and low.
It was behind him and low, but
sorry, I was thinking you meant just most improved, and I was like, I feel like the Colts are going to be most improved in the AFC.
So each year, I think for the last 25 years, a team from each division, meaning NFC and AFC, has gone from last place the previous year to first place.
Right. Yeah.
So, I think Bengals is the easy bet on the AFC side.
The AFC.
Titans, Patriots, or
Chargers?
was
No,
it Chargers? Yeah.
Was it Chargers?
I think they were worse.
No, were the Broncos not the worst?
Oh, Broncos, yeah.
You know what?
No,
the
let me double
Broncos had
check
a shot.
that. Let me double check that. No way Broncos win the division.
Yeah, no, you might be right. It might be the Chargers.
Chargers were out early, but they did get some early wins. But then they just started.
No, yeah,
What?
it is the Chargers. Yeah, it is the Chargers
Yeah.
for worst to first. So your options for the AFC are Pats, Chargers, Bengals, Titans. So I think your most likely is probably Bengals. Second is Titans.
Oh, I'd still. Oh wait, to first. That's the problem part. I was
Yeah.
gonna say Chargers seem like the best shot, but they have the highest mountain to climb. Literally
Yeah.
Mahomes Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And the Raiders are going to have the new coach bump, and the Broncos just can't be worse than they were last year, even though they won 8 games. Then your choices in NFC are Commanders, Cardinals, Bears, Panthers. Man, it doesn't seem like any of those teams can.
Well, if you don't believe in Purdy and you believe in an aging team in the Niners, it probably would be the Cardinals would be your best bet. I don't see any of them happening. You're right, but if you do believe that the Niners are due for a fall off, it would be them.
It's got to happen somewhere.
Wait, so
Do you believe in Bryce Young sophomore leap?
no, I think it has to be the Bengals. I think it has to.
No,
No,
it's
NFC.
East Division.
You're talking about for the NFC now?
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
you got I would say
Who
I
got
would
last
say
in that? The Bears got last in that division.
it's Bears, Commanders, Cardinals, Panthers.
Bears, Commanders,
could
Cardinals, Panthers.
I could see a Caleb bump getting up into the, but I mean Packers really finished strong. Lions don't look like they're going away, and Vikings are probably due to become worse than that division.
It's
but
always the NFC South because that is such a terrible division at all times.
Yeah, I think I got
Whoever wins that division is always going to be 9-8 or 10,
8-9 even.
10-7 maybe. Yeah, 8-9
Don't-
could win you that division. That might be your best bet.
But don't the Panthers not even have a first round pick this year?
Yeah, that is the downside. Yeah, they are kind of cooked right now.
Oh, they don't. You're right.
Is it really the Commanders doing just NFC East weirdness?
But
And
I
just,
can't
like,
imagine the Eagles
New
are gonna be
owner
better.
and
I
don't
I
either.
think the Eagles are. I don't know, man. I think Sirianni's going to get fired midseason. That's my first hot take of the new year.
Wow.
I think he's lost that locker room, and I don't know if he brings it back.
Is Kelsey retiring?
Yeah,
I
probably.
think it's still up in the air.
But probably. By the way, one thing I did want to say before I was looking for this is what I was looking at on my phone.
Travis, yeah.
One thing about Antonio Pierce is that Antonio Pierce, the head coach of the Raiders, the 5 quarterbacks he beat last year, I don't know if you saw this, was he beat Easton Stick, he beat Jared Stidham, he beat Tommy DeVito, he beat Zach Wilson, and then he beat Mahomes with 2 defensive touchdowns. That's something to think about when we talk about, Antonio Pierce really turned around that team. He beat 4 backup quarterbacks, and then their defense scored 2 touchdowns to beat Mahomes.
Yeah, it's kind of wild.
I'm wondering if, for the Raiders, maybe they got sold golden beans, you know.
My counter argument would be that is a Jaden McDaniel or not Jaden Josh McDaniel group that is there. I mean, he showed so much incompetence. You really can't think that Pierce is working with anything he wants to work with.
It's true.
Like,
but they're gonna have to go get a quarterback. They're gonna have to figure out the quarterback.
Correct.
And that's the hardest position to figure out, as the Raiders have proven time and time again.
Just pick last. The Niners got it figured out.
Just take them.
Just take some bum with your last pick. It'll work.
NFC team, I'm gonna ride with the Panthers to be the worst to first team, just because the NFC South is so bad.
Just because the sneaky analytics say Bryce Young is okay.
And because I don't think they've overpaid anybody in Carolina. I think they're gonna have a fair amount of money to go make a couple moves.
I'd say Miles Sanders got overpaid.
Yeah, Miles Sanders did get overpaid. Man, that did suck.
Don't play running backs.
As much as I love him, I think Hurst got overpaid, but that's just a staple of you play for Joe Burrow, you get a big contract as a tight end. Until you are terrible like Irv Smith.
Man, I really thought Irv Smith was gonna be better for you guys too. That shocked me.
Yeah, we're just glad we had a secondary tight end that actually outperformed quite a bit. So at least we had that.
Yep.
I don't know.
Uh,
It's a tough one.
All right, Chase, we're ready for your hottest take, your best hottest take of the year.
Let's see it.
So we've talked about him.
Big honk shoe.
We've talked about him a fair amount. The take itself isn't anything crazy. In hindsight, it was the timing of the take and a little added spice. Texans are winning the AFC South. This was back after week 2. I had zero belief in the Jaguars. Not only that, they had a rough stretch. I doubled down and said, no, this is the AFC South winner. And then later on, when there was that fight with the Colts to make the playoffs and the Jags were still in first, I said, no, triple down. This is the AFC South winner that we are looking at.
Yeah, I mean, the Jags
And it
did
happened.
go. The hindsight had the Jags go, what was it, 1-7 to finish the season?
Yeah, something crazy.
Something like that.
Or 1-5 to finish the season at least.
Yikes.
Yeah, 1-5.
Yeah, just a crazy
Where
collapse.
there was a little bit of injury sprinkled in there
Yeah.
for their star quarterback.
Yeah. Right.
It just looked so early like a team that was like, they can actually make some fireworks. And D'Amico Ryans is it. He is him as a coach.
It's true.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's not a crazy radical take.
Himbos.
It was the timing. It was the belief in Stroud over any other quarterback. I still did believe Levis would be better, but I thought that Stroud's team was much better. Just seeing them play early on. And then they started putting up like 350 passing yards a game, and it was like, okay.
Uh-huh.
And then the Texans defense was just coming down.
Himmy Garoppolo.
No, him, McGraw.
Oh, Himmy Garoppolo. Sorry. We're sorry. Me and Owen have been running a bit.
No,
Sorry.
I'm good. I'm
listening.
seeing the members. It's fine. It's fine.
No, you're good.
No, we're not talking shit on you. We were
No.
Truman said what
Himothy.
Truman said Himothy, and then I said Himmy Turner, and we were kind of just saying
Back
making
and
him
forth.
jokes.
I said Him Thorpe.
Him Thorpe, Himmy Neutron,
Himmy Garoppolo.
Himmy Garoppolo,
Yeah.
him McGraw.
So, just
No, yeah,
all good.
you absolutely cooked with your take. My goodness, week 2.
Yes. And now, in summary, obviously I submitted like 100+ takes. I think across the
You
whole
did
season.
do a lot.
Sure.
There were a few weeks where it was 10+.
We appreciate
Some were
it.
easier to do that. There were some I really believed in more than others. I mean, that is any take fest.
Yeah.
You had some fun ones, like the AFC North is the best division in football. That was back after week 4, when it looked like the Bengals got back on track, and the other teams were also still doing pretty good.
Nailed it.
Well, I mean, if none of them went to the Super Bowl, it's hard to say that they were the best division in football.
I'm excited for next season. I'm excited for some of the takes I can come up with. Truman seems like he's asking for more anti-Chiefs takes. I might have to dive into some advanced analytics to really find some numbers to be like, yeah, Chiefs next year gonna have the 17th worst special teams unit with Tommy Townsend gone.
That's tough. We just signed Matt Ariza. I don't know, man.
that would be pretty good.
Has he been punting recently?
No, he hasn't.
No,
but
it's like riding a bike.
But when he did punt, like the last time he punted for a full season was college, and he averaged 58.
If there's anything in football that I think you could do against air and stay in pretty good shape, it's probably kicking punts or punting the football. Even more than kicking field goals. Like I think
I like to have thought that with our punter, but he decided he wanted to punt like 43 yards average and be terrible.
Yeah, well, Tommy Townsend
Townsend had a good postseason. He had an awful regular season.
People got mad at me for that like all year. I'm like, Tommy Townsend hasn't been good. And they're like, oh yeah, and I'm like, yeah. And then he punted it out of the end zone. And I'm like, yeah, there it is. I was like, and I was on the opposite side last side where people are like, Tommy has not been good this year, and I was like, he's been great. And then he won an All-Pro, and I was like, I told you guys. Like, and then And then all of a sudden people were like, "Oh, Tommy is him," and I'm like, "He's not very good this year." And then he wasn't, and now we've cut him.
We haven't cut him.
Well, we're just gonna let him.
You're not re-signing him, right? Yeah, that's
Right.
It's
what
a
it is.
punter battle, Truman.
No.
You're not paying
Battle.
$3 million for a punter battle.
Yeah, no, he's unrestricted free agent. We're not.
he is?
We're not re-signing.
Yeah.
We're not making him the
Yeah.
highest paid punter of the year in the league. Although people are saying, I think if he signs for like if he becomes the highest paid punter in the league and signs for like $4 million, we might get a comp. We might get a comp pick for our punter signing somewhere, man.
And then we can get another L'Jarius Sneed in the 7th round.
Thank God, we're gonna need it. I don't know if L'Jarius Sneed will be back here or not.
Dude, the salary cap went up huge where you can easily sign Chris Jones and L'Jarius Sneed.
Which
Yeah,
Chiefs players are you
salary
guys
cap
gonna
did
sign?
jump.
Chase, which Chiefs player were you guys looking to sign? You guys signing Chris Jones or?
No, I don't believe it. I think we'll draft a D tackle. I don't believe the front office is high up on Reader after like his 3rd major leg injury.
Yeah.
But I think it's a draft fix. I just don't see it being a spend. Vita Vea, man, when he came out of that draft, he was amazing.
Yep.
Yeah, Vita Vea would be a good one.
So are you just asking who on the Chiefs would we want to sign? Is that
Well, I
kind of
just
your
assume you have
question?
somebody that you want or not, but
Truman, you make it sound like I think about the Chiefs, and I've only thought about them a handful of times outside of sports. Thank you very much.
only what the NFL shoved down everybody's throats, from what I understand.
Only when I have seen Taylor Swift and I instantly think, you know what? Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Couldn't handle your 5 total minutes of Taylor Swift over the course of the whole year. Really,
Yep. The
God.
NFL did its job. It makes me think Taylor Swift equates to NFL now.
Yeah,
I have officially.
You guys are welcome for being able to keep T. Higgins. That was all Taylor Swift.
Shout out to you for this.
That's that extra
salary cap.
$14 million in cap space for everybody. You're welcome. There he goes.
Honestly,
he said the same thing.
Honestly, I don't know if I have a select individual. I mean, it'd probably be one of your corners, just because how good they were. I mean, you had what, 2 All-Pros, 1 All-Pro.
I mean, everybody should want. Well, L'Jarius Sneed should have been an All-Pro, but he wasn't.
yeah, somehow.
Yeah, you.
And he made everybody regret that in the playoffs.
I mean, yeah, you're like 2nd-year corner who's like on a 1st-year or 1st-round pick deal. I mean,
Oh yeah,
McDuffie,
who's an All-Pro
McDuffie.
already? Like,
yeah.
who wouldn't want him? Second, okay.
The fact that we
So
could have had
he hasn't
Kyer
had a good
Elam
year.
instead of him was crazy. That
Wait, he was a 2nd round pick.
we made
right?
the right pick. What?
McDuffie was a 2nd round pick, right?
Mm-mm.
He was 1st round.
Yeah, we traded in front of the Bills.
Oh, that's right.
To draft Trent McDuffie, and they got Kyer
Yeah,
Elam instead, and Kyer Elam is struggling to start right now.
Tough.
We've
Well,
done
How
it
much do you
twice.
really think that's McDermott? How much do you think that's McDermott's coaching inability?
He's going to be defined by getting cucked by the Chiefs, essentially.
Yeah.
That's really
Hey,
Sean
and the
McDermott's legacy at
Bengals.
this point.
Let's not just say the Chiefs.
Well, but I mean, the Chiefs traded with the Bills to draft Mahomes, and then they traded in front of the Bills to draft Trent McDuffie.
And then they've lost to the Chiefs when not playing bad football. They've lost to the Chiefs while playing really good football.
The Bengals beat the Bills once in the playoffs. We've beat the Bills in the playoffs, I think, three times with Mahomes.
Because there was 13 seconds.
Yes.
Then there was the game before that
when
you got on Twitter to slam Bills fans, and then there was this year.
The legendary emote, yes, yeah. So
the legendary emote of you drinking that.
Yes,
shit. That's right.
So in the Bengals, to
Does
be
it
fair,
look like he can stand up to jet fuel heat?
to be fair, the Bengals beat the hell out of the Bills. We've broken the Bills because we've beat them in two heartbreaking ways.
The picture of Stephon Diggs staring at the confetti going on the Chiefs and be like, "This will be me in the future," and it has yet to be him.
Boy, people keep
Bro's been standing there for 4 years.
People keep adding pictures of him, and he's got now they keep copying it. There's 3 of them now.
There you go. There's the chugging champagne emote. For everybody.
Classic.
Yeah, that's nice. So, all right. So that does it, Chase.
Yeah. Like I said, I had a blast doing this all year. Some were rushed, unfortunately. For some reason, Monday night I just kind of get surprised, for whatever reason. I don't know if it's because of the start of the week or what. A few times I'm really the ones where I came in with like 15 takes. I was thinking the whole weekend about them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm sure if I counted them, it's 100 plus. It feels like it might even be 150 plus.
We absolutely appreciate it, man. It's been really fun reviewing your takes all year. I'm glad you were able to compile a top 5, bottom 5 for us. It's very nice of you.
Yeah, I liked this. I liked doing because I know you guys are going to kind of go more way in depth on like all of them. I feel like this is a good little summary, so you guys don't have to worry about mine. You can just focus on what you got on like Twitter and stuff. And I also like that. I noticed a lot of who submits takes for you guys is like K-State only, Chiefs only, maybe some other like maybe branching off or big news like Purdy's not going to win an MVP kind of talk. So I liked being able to be like, okay, let me look at all the scores. Let me just kind of look at how things went. Oh, this is clearly something that's not good. Oh, this is clearly something that's promising. Like stuff like that. It allowed me to kind of get a better understanding.
We definitely appreciate the second, the outside opinion for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy though. Obviously, the origin story on how we met with Truman and I just meeting in a random Valorant game.
Valorant,
I think you were there, Owen, as well, right?
No, John was there.
No, he was not. That's
John
what it
was there.
John
of
was
all
there.
people.
Yes, I think it was me and John playing because I think John was like, "Dude, you got like streamer voice, man." He was saying that to Chase.
Because was it Chase on the case or home run Chase?
It was home run Chase, I think.
Okay.
For that one.
I think home run Chase has to be my username in a lot of things because nothing allows spaces. But chasing on the case is my Discord that I use a lot.
Yeah.
Anything that allows me to kind of have a profile name is normally that. But I was just in a game with my friend and just kind of, she doesn't like to talk in game chat, so I was relaying her comms to the other three, and just kind of got talking. And it's crazy that our sports fandoms like both really took off at the same time. Yours obviously a little higher, but it's just like that we both are like relevant still.
No, absolutely.
Since that event.
Yeah.
To be fair,
4 years later.
To be fair, your college team has done better than ours. They made the playoff.
Well, but winning Big 12 titles.
We had an easier path to get there.
Yeah, I suppose.
Compared to the Big 12.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I don't know, since UC's coming to K-State, or do we go to UC soon? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't even know if I'm going to watch Satterfield coach a game until he's gone.
Yeah.
I turned off way too many UC games in the third quarter this year than I would like to admit, just because it was not looking good.
Hey, we always respect the turning off the game when you're no longer having fun. We're big proponents of that.
Yeah.
I famously turned off a Super Bowl in the third quarter.
I wonder which one that was.
Nope, I no idea.
No idea. Well, Chase, we appreciate you for being here. Appreciate you for hanging out. As always, appreciate you listening, being here, being around,
supporting the show
consistently every week.
Yep.
Week in, week out, giving us takes, and we appreciate that. So.
Yep, I try. If I can't make it, YouTube's my go-to.
There you go.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of, everybody, if you guys want to catch up with us, if you guys missed some of the show, or if you guys are listening on Spotify and rather see our beautiful faces, or Chase's PowerPoint for this episode, you guys could head on over to youtube.com, Open Disaster Productions over there. If you guys are tired of seeing our face because you're watching on YouTube, you could go over to Spotify or Apple iTunes, wherever you guys get your podcast. Twitter.com/Steam Machine, Twitter.com/OwenGoshDominant, Twitter.com/Home Run Chase, TTV Home Run Chase.
Man, I haven't used Twitter like actively in so long, or I haven't used X in so long. Honestly, it's just been kind of off the grid, vibing, playing games, not worrying about stream times and stuff. I don't know.
Hey,
feels very good with a full-time job now.
It is TTV Home Run Chase, confirmed.
Yeah, I think it is TTV Home Run Chase.
Full-time jobs, when we're also no longer in COVID times, do be that way. As two streamers who definitely do not stream as much anymore outside of COVID times anymore.
Oh, I'd be streaming for sure, man.
Yeah, because me and Owen are spending too much time together in the real world.
And definitely not gaming For sure. I don't do
Yeah,
that.
to be fair, you play video games. You still play video games. I haven't played video games on this. I haven't played video games probably a month or two. So.
Truman's got this thing called a girl that lives in his house with him. It really complicates things for him.
I also have a job.
Owen and I got it with that single life, you know?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It'll happen for you guys. You guys will find a partner.
Oh, shut
Both
up.
of you. Hey, you guys are. Whoa.
Hey, maybe each other.
Yeah, I'm going to say two
right?
single guys
Oh.
right here. Look out. Look out.
Love butts?
He likes sports. You like sports. He's a fan of a Big 12 football team. You're a fan of a Big 12 football team.
Another meet cute.
You're a fan of a Super Bowl winning football team. Chase, we appreciate you for. I'm sorry, Chase.
I cannot wait for the day I'm able to in person attend a Chiefs Bengals game with you, and the Bengals destroy the Chiefs in that game.
Maybe we'll have to go to Patcore Stadium next year. I think it's in Cincy the next year.
Yeah.
No. Or is it?
I should have a house by then. House by mid to end of this year is the plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hold on. Let me look up. Oh yeah, Islanders won. Nice.
We did?
Yep.
It should,
I got to
be
talk
in
shit.
It's in the Chiefs this upcoming year.
They won
After
in
that, I
overtime.
don't know if it's. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a rotation every other or if it's back to that 3-year rotation thing.
Well, it's like whenever it's just the way that it ends up. Hold on. That means the Chiefs will host Baltimore, Cincy, New Orleans, and Tampa Bay in 2024. So you'll have to come here again.
Yeah.
Maybe both our Bengals fans actually come this time in Burrowhead. Yes. See y'all in Burrowhead.
Yeah, I think the way the division works is like if you have the same positioning as a division that you're facing, it's like 3 years it's that one side's team, like it's the AFC West 1 seed no matter what as home, and then the next 3 years the AFC North has home. It's like weird how that all works.
Right. It's because
there's
this
an
year we're
algorithm
playing
to
the AFC North, and instead of if we weren't playing the AFC North, we would have alternated because the only reason we played in Arrowhead this year is because we were playing the 1 seeds, and the way our 1 seeds worked out is you guys had to come here, and this year we'll go, or we would have gone to, we would have gone to Baltimore but we're playing the AFC North. And last time we played the AFC North, we went to Baltimore and went to Cincy. So now Baltimore and Cincy are coming here.
Well, yeah, I remember it's the same thing that made the Chiefs play in Foxborough, like
three times in a row.
Yeah, like 3 times.
And now the Bills have played in Kansas City like 3 times in a row.
Right.
And now we've got to go to Orchard Park next year, I think. So
Yeah, it's a weird cycle thing, but I have TwitchCon on my radar. I have I would love to attend a Bengals Chiefs game. Got some things in the future that I'm looking at, but I haven't confirmed one. I'm most excited for the potential creation of this Dynasty League, Truman.
Yes.
That is what I'm most excited for.
I'm ready to lock in to Dynasty now. I do need to get locked in on that now that we're
100 an entry?
Season. What?
100 an entry? 200 an entry?
It'll probably be something like that. It'll be significant. It won't be much more than that.
Would you have to re-up every year?
That's what I've kind of got to work through. It's like, because I kind of want it to be where you can almost like sell a team also, where it's like, yeah, my team is, you should pay me $300 to have this team, but then
that'd be interesting.
But I've got really good players, so it's like it's very interesting. So we'll see. I've got to work through all that. I got to think about how I want to do it. I've been busy with my life. I'm living my life right now until March 5th. Right now, I've got a bunch of stuff that goes out on March 5th. And then I can think past that. I've not been able to think past that because I've got like 8 deadlines that day.
Are you locked into the when the fiscal year ends and you like have a bunch of stuff until that ends?
Yeah, it's honestly because we're at the beginning still kind of the fiscal year where everybody's got all the big projects are going out right now because everybody's got funding all of a sudden. So.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I know that time frame. Yeah. We're nearing that our group as well, getting the grant money.
Yep. So. All right. Chase, we appreciate you for being here. Again, you can follow us Twitter, Steam Machine, Owen Gosh Dahm, TTV Home Run Chase. Even though he doesn't tweet anymore.
Correct.
But you can follow us everywhere. Twitch.tv/Steam Machine, Twitch.tv/Domination7, Patreon.com/Open Disaster. Shout out Aaron, Joe, Skylar, Dylan, and Mailbox Kansas City. Opening soon in the Iron District, by the way. So, Chase, one more time, we do appreciate you for being here.
And I appreciate you for having me.
Of course. If you guys watch on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe. If you're watching on Spotify, follow.
You can hit the bell on both.
I think you like the episode.
Yeah, you can like. Yeah.
TikTok.com/Steam Machine. Putting some stuff up over there, I guess. Also. All right. See you guys.
Ya.